Hey everybody, David here, and today going to be talking to you about this. The 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro. We're going to cover a quick summary of the unboxing experience and the first initial impressions I have after using this for 4 weeks. Let's go. The unboxing experience is really great. It's pretty much what you expect from Apple these days. Super premium, super minimal, really easy. As you can probably see, I struggled a little bit to get the actual lid of the box off, but that's probably just me being a little bit incompetent. Overall, great first impression and makes you really want to dive in and use the device. So in terms of materials, it's pretty much all aluminium and glass. It's minimal. There's not a lot of additional unnecessary design language. And overall, I think the device is just extremely sleek, extremely premium, and flawless in execution. In terms of kind of size and weight, for me, this is a very nice size. It provides a screen which is large enough to be enjoyable and immersive for creative work or for content consumption, web browsing. But at the same time, it's really very easy to move around in one hand. And it's small enough that I end up using this in situations where I'm lazing around on the sofa or I'm out and around in different locations. It's about the same kind of size as an A4 notebook, and the weight is pretty similar. It's around 640 grams, so actually even less than the weight of a loaf of bread. Pretty damn portable. In terms of my experience so far after 4 weeks, the one word that springs to mind more than anything else is smooth. I was trying to think of an analogy to get across exactly how smooth the experience with this device is. And the closest I could get was, imagine that you are trying to capture an eel covered in butter amongst a whole bunch of other buttered eels. This is the level of smoothness that we're talking about. Now, crazy analogies aside, what exactly do I mean? The processor is super fast, super responsive. Apple's marketing for this device talks about the iPad being comparable or better than a lot of laptops in terms of its power. And it really is borne out. You can see the same thing on artificial benchmarks. But using this, it cuts through professional level tasks with absolute speed without missing a beat. The other thing that adds to that super smooth experience is the 120 Hz refresh rate of the screen. That means interacting with the device with touch or with the Apple Pencil both feel ultra responsive and really seamless. So, the two big takeaways in terms of experience. Number one, the device makes you want to use it. It's really enjoyable to interact with, whether that's via touch or with more traditional mouse and keyboard or with the pencil. All of the options feel really nice to use. And for me, that gives a lot of encouragement to do more with the device, to be more productive, to be more creative, which is great. Number two, because of how good the experience is and because of how nice it is to interact with the iPad, it's really encouraged me to want to use it more to learn new skills and to increase my creative output. And those two things are really the main reasons that I invested in this device in the first place, which I think neatly brings us into, why did I buy this? Why might you want to? So for me, the main reason to get the iPad was obviously as a distraction from my numerous crippling character flaws. Yay, materialism. But you might not have to worry about that. So what are the other reasons? Well, the first is to augment my creative workflow. I've wanted to learn new skills in terms of photo editing and graphic design for quite a while. And the iPad and the fact that you have the pencil support was one of the big things that I wanted to do to really push myself to make more progress in that direction. My main creative background is as a musician and a music producer, as well as having some background in video production and editing. Certainly on the music front, the iPad really exceeded my expectations. Garageband comes for free. You can add that to your iPad with a simple download from the App Store, and it's very capable for doing what I think of as quick sketches. I have an idea, I want to get down a beat or a melody, and I can just pick up the iPad in little gaps between other things during the day and very quickly sketch that out. I wanted to be able to use this device for things like Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Garageband, covering photo editing, graphic design, music production in a flexible form factor that I could interact with in a bunch of different ways, and that would very easily mean the things that I created here could work seamlessly with my MacBook Pro 16-inch, which is the main machine that I use. Above those specifics, I was really interested in trying out Sidecar. That's something which, with the newer versions of macOS and iPadOS, allow you to use the iPad as a wireless second screen and to also drag windows from the software on your Mac. For example, take the mixer in Logic or the browser in Final Cut, and then to interact with those using touch or the Apple Pencil on the iPad. And having used that a little bit, it really is very cool. One of the other reasons that I thought the iPad would be a great addition for my work is the Apple ecosystem. So the fact that I can do these creative tasks and then airdrop things very easily between different devices, or to save things into iCloud and pick up immediately where I left off between Mac, between iPad, for things like GarageBand even on the iPhone, and to basically have all of these things where I can create stuff or get work done regardless of my environment in a very portable and flexible way. That was super attractive to me. There's also multitasking. So the new version of iPadOS allows you to do a number of multitasking things that you could not do in the past. This could be having split screen apps with 2 apps divided in half or different ratios based on your preference. You can also have a 3rd app in a kind of slide over format on top. So you could very easily be having an article on one side of the iPad, taking notes on the other with music or YouTube playing in the background. Last but not least, I was interested in trying out Bluetooth keyboard and mouse support. The idea being that if that worked well, then this could be my portable productivity tool across all sorts of different fronts, with the advantage that it's much lighter, much easier to charge with a lower wattage charger, and therefore a lot more portable than my MacBook, which is a great machine, but it's a heavy boy. So on to my impressions after having used the iPad extensively for 4 weeks. What do I think? Well, the short answer is this is great. A really, really cool device that has so far done everything that I hoped for from it, and actually in a number of areas really exceeded my expectations. It's really encouraged me to do more creatively and to learn more new skills. From being a complete novice, I can now do a few of the basics and create some things that I think are quite cool in Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, and I'm just at the beginning of that learning journey. But already the iPad has supercharged my engagement with those new skills, and I've hacked my naturally lazy mind to do more things more often, which is great. One thing that I wasn't expecting was how much I would enjoy using the Apple Pencil. So the analogy that sprang to mind here is it's a bit like a friend saying, hey, let's watch a movie, it's the new Robert Pattinson one, to which I would be kind of indifferent. And then you get there, the movie starts, and it turns out that actually it's peak Schwarzenegger. And that's my jam. So to say that the pencil has exceeded my expectations would be an understatement. In the photo and graphic design applications, this is just great. It's super intuitive, it feels really natural to use. One thing that surprised me was how good the pencil is for music production in Garageband. It's precise, it's quick to use, and even programming MIDI, creating a beat or creating a melody, you are literally writing music, and for me that was super fun, super engaging. I do enjoy gaming as a hobby, but I have to confess, iOS gaming, mobile gaming, that's not really my thing. So the cool thing for me about the iPad is it does allow for remote play with the PS4. So one of my surprise positives has been the way that I can now use the iPad, pair the PlayStation 4 Bluetooth controller, and then basically have a PS4 experience anywhere with really good Wi-Fi that is pretty much seamless. The games look amazing on the screen, and the speakers, for a device of this size, are really good. Decent levels of detail, surprisingly good bass. They aren't as good as the speakers on the 16-inch Macbook Pro, but they're definitely not far behind. And for something this light and portable, they're great. It's shown itself to be super capable of everything that I've talked about so far. But beyond that, the chip in here, the A12Z, is the same one that Apple has in the developer transition kit announced at the recent Worldwide Developers Conference. What does that mean? Well, that device, the transition kit, has been shown to be running Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, the kind of apps that for me are the heart of my creative workflow. So I do wonder if it will be possible in the future to see these apps either in full or partial form on the iPad. And if that happens, then what I'm already finding to be a super useful device just exponentially increases in usefulness, which is exciting. Away from creative or productivity work, the iPad is a really nice content consumption device. The screen is gorgeous in terms of colors, in terms of contrast. Watching stuff on here just looks absolutely great. I already mentioned how good the speakers are, so it creates an immersive and enjoyable experience. Overall, the iPad Pro has done everything that I thought it would do, everything that I hoped it would do, and it's exceeded my expectations on both fronts. So I'm very happy with my investment. I think for a lot of people, the iPad Pro could genuinely be a replacement for an existing notebook or desktop computer. The performance level and the capability of the device right now means that that is genuinely a viable solution for a lot of people. Adding on to that, the Bluetooth keyboard and mouse support means that productivity tasks are now very easily handled by the iPad, and with a great degree of flexibility and portability, which so far I've found really good. So, those are my summary thoughts after 4 weeks of using the 2020 iPad Pro. I hope you've enjoyed the video. This is a brand new channel, so if you liked what you saw, please subscribe, please like the video, and if you have comments, thoughts, suggestions, all of those are very welcome. Until next time, take it easy.